Hi there, hello, I'm Clifford Bates, and welcome once again to reading Machiavelli's Discourse. Playing with our screen a little bit for a second. Today we're continuing Book 1, and we are looking at Chapter 39. So let's go right to it. In diverse peoples, the same accident may often be seen. So therefore, in diverse peoples, different peoples, you can see the same accidents may be seen. When whoever considers the present and ancient things easily knows that in all cities and in all people there are the same desires and the same humors, and they've always been. So therefore, what is he saying? In other words, regardless, they're ultimately regarding human things, the present and ancient things, right? And that in all cities and in all people there are the same desires and the same humors, and that there always been. So it is in other words, that is saying that human nature is uniform. That there's going to be certain same people are going to have the same desires are found in men, and that they're going to have the same humors, the same natures in that sense. So it is easy thing for whoever examines past things diligently to foresee future things in every republic, and to take the remedies from them that were used by the ancients, or if they do not find any that were used, to think up new ones thoroughly by the similarity of accidents. So in other words, you can go look and go find either examples. You can go, in other words, because of this things are the same. If you want to know how to, remedies of things, go look at what was done in the past, and then use their example of what is done in the past. Or if there's not what is done in the past, go look at if there's no similar example in that sense, look at the accidents. Go look at the similarities of accidents. Think of new ones through the similarity of accidents, he says. But because these considerations are neglected, or not understood by whomever reads, or if they're understood, they are not known to whomever governs, it follows that there are always the same scandals in every time. In other words, it's going to report the same thing because, one, these doing this is not neglected by those who read history, the past. And then what? And then, okay, even if that's understood by those who read, it is not understood by those who govern. So either it's due to because people don't look at these questions in the past, or those who govern don't take consideration of these things, that the same scandals arise. After 94, when the city of Florence had lost part of its empire, such as Pisa and the other towns, it was compelled of necessity to make war on those who had seized them, right? Again, this is 94 refers to invasion by the French king, Charles V. And because he who seized them was powerful, it followed that the Florentines spent very much time in the war, fruitlessly. From very much spending came very high taxes. From the taxes, infinite quarrels among the people. In other words, okay, so therefore this is, they lost their thing. And because they lost the thing, they had to attack the one who took it. All right, and because this person who took it was very powerful, it meant they had to spend a lot in war, and fruitlessly. And from the spending of this stuff came heavy taxes. And the heavy taxes came from quarrels among the people. Come on, this is reminding anyone what happened over the past 20 years in American history. All right. And because of this war, because this war was administered by the magistracy of the 10 citizens, who were called the 10 of war, the collectivity began to bear spite against them, as the cause both of the war and the expenses. And it began to persuade itself that if the said magistracy were taken away, the war would be taken away. In other words, you take the in other words, you get. In other words, the magistracy of the 10 citizens, the 10 of war, they held them not only for the war, but also the taxes for the war, right? And if you got rid of the if you got rid of the magistracy, you get rid of the war. They argued the war would be taken away. So when it had to be remade, replacements were not made for it. It was allowed to expire, and its functions transferred to the signoria, okay, to another office. In other words, they did not replace the 10 men. The people saw the 10 men were to blame, so when people left, they didn't replace them into the 10. The argument is if the 10 disappears, then the war disappears. So they didn't replace people into the 10, and therefore it became a situation that their functions were not ended, but they were transferred to the signoria. That decision was so pernicious that not only did it not remove the war, as the collectivity had persuaded itself, but since those men who were administering it with prudence were taken away, such disorders followed that, besides Pisa, Ero, and many other places were lost. So that when the people saw better its error, and that the cause of the ill was the fever and not the physician, it remade the magistracy of the 10. All of a sudden they saw, oh my God, this was. So the people, and in a better sense, in other words, that they lost more because of in other words, the original 10 had prudence. Once the signoria was in charge of it, everything was gone, and they lost even more. And that now, the words that they said, okay, no, it's not the doctor. The illness is the fault, the war, not the doctor trying to solve it. So they remade the 10. The same humor was raised in Rome against the name of the councils, right? For when the people saw one war after another arise, that they could never rest, whereas they should have thought that it arose from the ambition of neighbors who wished to crush them. They thought it arose from the ambition of the nobles who, since they were unable to punish the plebes when they were defended by the tribunate power. Again, this is potesta, the potesta of the power, potesta, tribunate potesta, power inside Rome, wished to lead it outside Rome under the consuls as to crush it, where it did not have any aid. In other words, tributes. In other words, oh my God! Therefore, in other words, the tribute was the Roman situation. If the people thought the consul was acting wrong, they'd appeal to the tribute, who would then nullify would make a decision to nullify the action of the consuls. Therefore, they thought war was the place where, okay, they wouldn't crush us here, but they take us to war and they crush us. Therefore, there's no tribute power in war, so therefore tributes are not more, they're only in the city. So therefore, oh my God. They thought, because of this, that it might be necessary either to remove the consuls or to regulate their power, so that they did not have the authority over people either outside or at home. So either two things, either they remove the consuls or regulate them. The first who attempted this law was Turilius, a tribune, who proposed that 5 men ought to be created to consider the powers of the consuls and to limit it. Yeah, this is Livy 3:9. This very much upset the nobility, since the magistracy of empire appeared to it to have altogether imperium of the empire of the imperium seemed to have altogether declined. so that there no longer remained any rank for the nobility in that republic. In other words, there's no more rank of this, nothing that they have nobility to show their status. The obstinacy of the tributes was nonetheless so great that the consular name was eliminated. This is in Livy 4:6, right? And in the end, they were content, after some other ordering, to create tributes with consular power. Podesta, right? Consular power, rather than consuls. So much more was the name held in hatred than by their authority. Now, this is again Livy 6:35, right? So they continued a long. In other words, they continued a long time, and they continued a long time until their error was recognized. And as the Florentine returned to the Ten, so they recreated the consuls. In other words, they realized, oh my God, the consuls, the tributes are not, they created tributes with consular. They got rid of the consuls, right? And they created tributes with consular power. But then, okay, that was bad judgment. It was like disaster and happened. And that the error was a lot. They continued a long time until the error was recognized, and as they recreated the consuls. And that's, again, this is how he ends this chapter. That, in other words, they make mistakes. They'll make a mistake. They made an error, as the again, like with the title here, that they made. Now he turns to Rome as the example, which is shocking in that sense, right? That they make a mistake and they refuse to make they see an error. They see an error. This is the idea that this is human nature. Everyone makes the same mistakes. So you have to understand. He goes backwards. Instead of giving us first the Roman account, he gives us the Florentine story, and then shows that, okay, if you've paid attention to the Roman account and the Florentine account are very similar. The same thing happens. And the same mistakes are made. Because they didn't take up, the Florentines didn't see what the Romans made. Okay, or something kept them from, some other force prevented them from seeing the error of what they were going to do. Okay, we'll stop here. If you have any comments, questions, please put them below, and I will see them and I will respond to them. If you have any issue or something you want to talk about here about this, want to address this, because I think this is an interesting point here. It's a short chapter, but it actually hits on some important themes about the universality of political things, and how human nature and how human humors and the nature of men and their desires and what they want are going to be universals in that sense, and that we can understand, and therefore we can use history to understand these things. Study of history is important. Machiavelli is very much, and not to study history is to not take advantage of knowledge that's available to us. So again, put your comments. And if I see them, I'll respond. If you like the chapter, hit the like button. Hit the like button, please. It helps the algorithm. Put your comments. Okay, I said that already, but hit the like button. Share it. Share on social media. Share it far and wide. Share it on your different means to different friends. If you have not subscribed, please do subscribe and encourage others to subscribe. Ask your friends to come check the channel out and check things out. And another thing is, you didn't like it, you can always thumbs down it. Oh, I didn't like it. But say why in the comments. This way, people can understand and benefit from it and learn. If I don't learn myself. Then the next thing is what? Well, if you want to follow me on social media links. If you want to, you want to know more about me as an academic, if you want to see my research and stuff like that, you can go check out my academic social media links underneath the social media links. And if you want to financially help me what I do here, because this is not that cheap, doing fixing computers and things, you can do so through Patreon or Subscribestar, or by buying one of the books, my books listed below, through either your local bookstore or an online distributor like Amazon or Barnes & Noble, or through the publishers directly themselves. Okay, that's it, and we'll look at chapter 40 next. Take care and have a good day.